Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Skull and Bones 2 and 2 here, and in today's Gears of War E-Day video, we're going to be talking about some new information, some new things that I wanted to bring to you guys that I haven't really seen anybody else in the community talk about. So it's not going to be a really long video, but it's just some interesting things that I wanted to bring to light. First off, I want to be talking about in the E-Day Direct, they actually hinted or showed a new grenade. Now, this grenade can be up in the air for debate on what exactly it is, but considering how we got introduced into the flash grenade in Gears 5, which was a new grenade all around, I'm starting to believe that the flash grenade making a return in Gears E-Day is a lot more plausible. I actually put an image of what it looked like in Gears 5 up on the screen for you guys, and then I actually show you what it looks like in game. Possibly that could be what the grenade is. And the reason I say that is because Kelowna, we have to take a lot of this into consideration, is that the first responders are the people that are first handling the locust before the COG really respond to anything in an official manner, which means that police officers are using their standard issue gear, weapons, and utility to fight the locust. And, you know, police officers don't really have access to military grade weapons. Police officers do have a wide array of weaponry to defend themselves and to partake in operations, but nothing like military level. So I mean, you're not gonna see cops walking around with frag grenades on the street to quell threats. More likely it's gonna be flash grenades to, you know, stun and kind of control riots and all of that stuff. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see an abundance of flash grenades in the beginning of the game, just for the sole fact that a lot of first responders, like police officers, are the people that are armed fighting the locust before we really get into the deep, layer of the campaign, where we're starting to meet more COG members and we're starting to fight with the armies. The armies starting to get together and get their grits together to fight the locust as they realize what's happening. Another thing that I do want to talk about besides the flash grenade being there is what is the importance of this grenade now. I know in Gears 5, the flash grenade was like one of the most controversial things ever added to Gears, because in the launch cycle of Gears 5, the flash grenade was broken. When you got hit with a flash grenade, not only were you flashbanged, you couldn't see. There was a horrible stun, and the screen would shake, and it was just very irritable to the eyes. Like it got, I think, nerfed 3 times before it was actually like implemented into the flash grenade. We know now, if you play Gears, Gears 5, it's a lot more tame. Another thing that I want to talk about is Captain Michaelson making an appearance in Gears E-Day. Captain Michaelson was actually the naval commander of the ship that we actually play on in Gears of War 3 in the beginning of the game before the Lambent attack and take the ship down. For those who don't know, Captain Michaelson is the one that Prescott goes to, and he ends up dying. I'll play a clip here for you guys.
You must take off! Why not? We'll find someone to do it! Oh, very well. Stand by.
Michelson's gone.
Phoenix, get down to the hangar. The helicopters are under attack.
For those who don't know, in the Gears of War lore, Captain Michaelson was in charge of the Marines, or also known as the Ncog, which we got our first official look in Gears of War 2, but they went more in depth in Gears of War 4. They were introduced as the Ncog Marines. In Gears of War 2 and 3, we saw a little bit more of the Ncogs. They had like a very distinct helmet that was pretty cool, but not a lot of limelight. It was different from the Mark 1 and Mark 2 standard COG issue helmets. It was kind of its own thing, and they expanded upon that in Gears 4 with the packs. The Ncog basically are the Marines. Your regular COG gear soldiers are the standard army infantry. I like to think of it in real life as COG is the army, the Ncog is the Navy/Marines, and then commandos are like your army rangers or special ops, and then Onyx Guard is like, I don't know, another subdivision of special operations units. Like it could be MARSOC, Special Forces for the Marines, or Secret Service or something like that, or Black Ops, something completely different. But he's basically in charge of the Ncog Marines, and they're the ones that will apparently have a pivotal role. We didn't really see a lot of Captain Michaelson in the game per se, but we did get a lot of him in extended media for Gears of War, like the comics and the books. Michaelson was a head honcho, like he was pretty up there. In a lot of the divisions of the COG, you have Hoffman, you have Prescott, you've got a couple other notable names in the higher ups. Michaelson was actually there, Adam Phoenix. I mean, these are like top echelons in the COG government that like really make executive decisions and such. But unlike the COG being very shady, Michaelson was actually one of the good ones who really prioritized soldiers and citizen safety first. So he's actually one of the like non-corrupt members, and it sucks that he died. He was a really like throwaway character in Gears 3, but in the books they give him a lot more importance, and his involvement with the division of the Ncog and how they became to be, because initially the COG had no navy, and he basically made a new kind of branch out of nothing, and through their hard work and their performance in the field, they ended up getting more funding and became an official branch within the COG, and having a navy and stuff like that. So a lot of that goes in depth and goes in lore, and they explain Michaelson. But I'm excited to see the Ncog Marines. I've always loved the Ncog Marine design. I've always been interested since seeing them in like snippets in Gears 2, and then in Gears 3 we see them in ROM Shadow. Actually, Ncogs are helping evacuate the city in the very beginning, where Ty Kaliso gives the ball to the little kid before he gets killed, inevitably. That was actually a couple days after E-Day. Ncogs are there actually escorting in Alima. So it's good to see that Michaelson in some effect and his Ncog Marines will have some sort of, pivotal role in E-Day. I'm not saying it's going to be something important. It does beg the question, though, how many branches are we going to see within E-Day? I understand that, this is humanity's first confrontation with the Locusts, but looking at it from a lore perspective, and that also trickles into multiplayers who will be able to play as, maybe customize their characters, get different armor pieces from different branches, what will we see? Who will we see? Are we going to be getting the Onyx Guard? Are we going to be getting Commandos? Are we going to be getting, Ncog Marines, all the other branches, Air Force members? How in-depth are we going to see all the branches reacting to the Locust emergence on E-Day? So it's really good, and it's a really good question to ask, and a very good hypothetical to see, when the game arrives, who's going to be one of the main branches, out there with us on the field. Obviously we know, standard issue Army COG will run into a couple soldiers, but if Captain Michaelson is going to be heavily involved in this campaign, as the coalition has told us in Twitter feeds, then to what extent, and are the Ncog Marines going to be the ones leading the charge with Marcus and Dom, or is it going to be more so we meet them, we have a couple missions with them, we hear Michaelson over the comms maybe, and we like escort a couple Marines or help some Marines out in certain points, but that's pretty much it when we're exploring certain open world-esque parts of the map in story mode? I mean, I wouldn't know. It's just up in debate, up in the air. But it's a good question to ask. What divisions of the COG will we see? I could make a separate video on that, but it's food for thought here for me to bring it up, especially how they teased in the Art of E-Day all the other branches, like the frontline infantry members, the heavies. Then you've got your snipers. Then you've got, the Air Force members, your standard issue, regular COG gears. So the door is there. Pandora's box is there. I'm ready for that to be open to see how in depth we really get to go. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have in this video. It wasn't anything crazy, but I did think it would be good food for thought, something good to talk about, some new stuff that I found. If you guys really would like for me to go in depth on what branches we could possibly see in the following video, that's something I can do. If there's interest in that, I can definitely make a video on that. For those of you that are excited to see the Ncog Marines coming back, I'm pretty hyped for that. I actually do like their armor design better than, like I said, than the Mark 1 and Mark 2 COG gear, standard issue armor. So I can't wait. But this is your boy Skull and Bones 212. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.